Now I'm going to use this single block to create the 4 blocks, 2 front blocks and 2 back blocks. Before you cut out your block paper, make sure you fold 1.5 inches backwards like this before you cut out the space that you are going to draft your block. So we have 5 measurements to work with. Now I'm going to create a start line. This start line happens to be where we are going to take our waist measurement from. Put your ruler 1 inch from the beginning of your block paper, then you rule. Number 1, the waist circumference. My waist circumference is 30. When I divide 30 by 4, I'll have 7.5. And that 7.5, I'm going to add 1 inch for the dart that is going to come to this area later. Then I'll have 8.5. I'm not going to add any ease allowance to this waistline. We want our skirt band to be fitted to our waist. We don't want it dropping. So I'm going to mark exactly 8.5. Number 2, the hip vertical measurement. My hip vertical measurement is 8. Then I'm going to put my ruler at the waistline. Then I'll measure it. Then I roll across. So number 3, the hip circumference. My hip circumference is 40. When I divide 40 by 4, I'll have 10. Then that 10, I'm going to add half an inch for ease allowance because we don't want our skirt to be glued to our body. So now I'm going to measure that 10.5 on this hip vertical line. Number 4, the full length of the skirt. The full length of my skirt is 26. So I'm going to put my tape at the waistline, bring it down to 26. You can use any length that you like. You can make it longer than this or shorter than this, it doesn't really matter, but I'm using 26. Mark 26. Number 5, nipple to nipple measurement. We're going to use the nipple to nipple measurement to create this dart because the dart line is coming all the way from the nipple line down past the waistline. My nipple to nipple measurement is 7. I'm going to share that 7 into 2. I'll have 3.5. So I'm going to measure 3.5 at the waistline. Then I'm going to use 4 inches for the length of the dart. Now I'm going to connect this point to this point. Then the 1 inch we added to this waistline earlier, now we are going to make use of it. We share it into 2, half an inch on this side, half an inch on this side. Like this. And connect this point to this point, this point to this point. Now we're going to create something like a triangle here to enable us all our dart in properly. So to do that, you just extend the center line with half an inch. Like that. You connect this point to this point to that point. Next step is to step this point up with 1/4 of an inch. Like that. Then we're going to connect this point to this center point here with a French curve. Because we are creating a straight skirt, we are going to use this hip measurement, which is 10.5 at the hem line. Then we connect this point to this point with a French curve, from this point to this point with a straight ruler. I'm going to add 2 inches for the hemming. That will serve as a hem allowance. Roll across. Label a line so that you know which is which when you are using the block for fabric. The waistline, the hip line, the hem allowance. Before you cut it out, extend this line to the hem allowance. The last thing is to trim out the edges. Now I'm going to wipe this line out. We've made use of it. We don't need it anymore, so that it can be very clear. Okay, white out. As you can see, the front straight skirt block is already completed. This is block 1. Then we have 3 more blocks to go with this same block. The second block is the back of this straight skirt block, and we are going to construct it on this block. The next thing for you to do for the second block is to reveal the hidden zip stand. That is the zip stand. Now I'm going to rule a line to separate the zip stand from the main body. I'm going to use a pink marker for you to know that this is the back. This is a zip stand. I call it zip stand. Some people call it zip allowance. It doesn't really matter. It's all the same thing. Next step is to carefully fold this hem allowance to the back. Just fold it along the extreme end of this hem line. The next step is to create the back dart on this front block. So how do you do that? It's very simple. This front dart is 4 inches. Then we are going to use 5 inches for the back dart. So this is how I'm going to do it. Put your ruler at the extreme end. This one is 4. Then along the line, I'm going to add with a pink marker. I'm going to add 1 inch like that. You are still going to use the same half an inch on this side, half an inch on that side. Connect this point to that point. Now the blue inner one is your front dart, while the pink outside one is your back dart. As you can see, I've labeled the 2 darts. The blue one, which is 4 inches, is representing the front dart, while the pink one, which is 5 inches, is representing the back dart. This is the zip stand and it's for the back. So the next step is to create the third block, which is the pencil skirt block. All you need to do is very simple, is to measure 1 inch from this point down. Then you come to the hemline and reduce this hemline by 2 inches. Like that. Then you connect this point to this point. Then you carefully fold along the edge of this line backward. So as you can see, the front of the pencil skirt block is created, and the front of this pencil skirt block goes with the blue 4 inches front dart. So this is block 3. So the next block is block 4, which is the back of this pencil skirt block. So how are we going to do that? It's as simple as ABC. All you need to do, carefully reveal the zip stand from the back, and that's it. This is the 4th block. Now this is the back of the pencil skirt block, and the back goes with this 5 inches pink dart here. To finish this 4-in-1 skirt block properly, you need to finish this line across the hem allowance. If you are bringing this line across, you don't bring it straight like a V, because when you do that and you hem it, you'll be missing some fabric around this area. What you need to do, you need to slant it a little bit so that when you hem it, it will fall properly in place. And this coming line, you have to bring it across the zip stand as well, and also bring this last line across the zip stand. That is exactly what I'm going to do right now. I've finished creating the lines. As you can see, it's a little bit slanty. What you need to do is carefully open the edge of this line. Why do you have to open that place? So that it will be easy for you to always put this part to the back like this. And see this edge here? So when you bring it out, you have your full straight skirt. As you can see, the 4-in-1 single skirt block is fully completed. And this 4-in-1 single skirt block is for stretchy and non-stretchy fabric. It's for both. And the end result of this 4-in-1 skirt block is to be able to use this block to cut out fabric. and I'm going to show you that briefly, how to use it to cut out fabric. You don't pin your block to your fabric. You always copy blocks. Blocks are for keeps. They can last a lifetime if you keep them well, and they can even be inherited. That is why I like creating blocks. I copy my block in 2 ways to make it faster when I'm cutting out my fabric. I'm going to briefly show you how to copy your block. I'm going to copy exactly the way it is on this block to my pattern paper. Because this is 4-in-1 block, it's for both pencil skirt and straight skirt. This SSL is for straight skirt line, while this PSL is for pencil skirt line. So you know which is which when you are using it to cut out your fabric. So first I'm going to add half an inch, because we are using inches. I'm going to add half an inch seam allowance at this side seam here. Then also half an inch seam allowance at the waistline. When you finish adding the half an inch seam allowance to the straight skirt, then you fold this to the back. You will also add half an inch seam allowance to the pencil skirt as well. You stop at 1 inch before the hip line. This curved side is for the straight skirt and also for the pencil skirt. That's why you have to stop your seam allowance 1 inch before the hip line. This is the one that I've copied. Now let me use it to show you an example. You can see the half an inch that I added to the straight skirt. Then when you put this back, you can also see the half an inch that I added to the pencil skirt. It's as easy as ABC. That's how you copy your block. For the stretchy fabric, you don't add seam allowance at both the straight skirt and the pencil skirt. You just cut it the way it is. The only place you add seam allowance is at the waistline, like this. If you don't add this half an inch seam allowance at the waistline, the length of your skirt will be reduced. So to prevent that, add half an inch seam allowance at the waistline. This is for the stretchy fabric. The end bit is to use the 4-in-1 single skirt block to cut out fabric. Say this is your fabric. Put your fabric on the fold like this. Fold it into 2. Then you bring your pattern piece and place it on top of your fabric like this. We don't waste fabric on this channel. We save fabric. Put it at the edge. You simply put this at the back because we are cutting out a pencil skirt. You pin your pattern piece to your fabric. Take your scissors. Carefully cut around the seam allowance like this. Like that. Then you go with the inner 4 inches blue dart. This one. That's it. Say you want to cut out the front of your straight skirt. All you need to do, bring out the hidden part like this. Pin this to your fabric. Cut around the edge of the seam allowance like this. Then you also go with the inner blue 4 inches dart for the straight skirt front. So the inner blue 4 inches dart is for both the straight skirt front and the pencil skirt front. That's how it works. Now, if you want to cut out the back of the pencil skirt block, this is an opening part to cut out the back of your skirt. Or you can use this folded part. When you finish cutting it, you can open it up. So it doesn't really matter. So if you want to cut out your pencil skirt back, all you need to do, put this to the back. Then you carefully reveal the back stand. Pin this to your fabric. Use your scissors to carefully cut around the edge of your seam allowance like this. Then go with the pink 5 inches dart. That goes with the back of your pencil skirt. And if you want to also cut out the back of your straight skirt, it's very easy. All you need to do, you reveal the hidden part. Then pin it down. Carefully cut around the edge of the seam allowance. You go with the 5 inches pink dart. So the 5 inches pink dart goes with the back of the pencil skirt and also the back of the straight skirt. It's as easy as ABC. You don't need a second piece. All you need is just this 4-in-1 single piece to do all the job for you. Anytime I want to use this 4-in-1 piece to cut out fabric, I'm always very happy because it's very fast and very easy for me to use. Yes. We've come to the end of this tutorial. If you like this video, please give me thumbs up. Don't forget to share this video with others so that they can learn new, discover new ideas of doing things in fashion world. The fast and the easiest way of learning fashion. They will thank you for it later. And if you have any question whatsoever, please don't hesitate to leave it at the comment section below. I'll be more than glad to answer any of your questions. And don't forget to subscribe if you've not done so. And when you are subscribing, please don't forget to click that bell. That bell is very important because I don't want you to miss out in any of my teachings. There are loads of new ideas that you've never seen in fashion world before that I'm going to be bringing to you. So subscribe so that you don't miss out on them. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video. God bless you. Bye-bye.